Welcome back, friends. In the previous video, we have created the logic for create room and join room. So this is like this. See that user can generate anything here. And let me open the inspect element also. And let's write the name. So I'm writing the name as Ramesh Sharma and generating the room here. So you can see that this is the room ID. So user can use this room ID here. And here we are getting that is user joined. So user is joined and this is an object. So that is stored in the user state that we have done. So till now we are not saving the users to the backend here so that we can get the list of the users. So for getting the list of the users that we will do in the next video. But our today motive will be that. So whenever user is writing something, so like here I am adding another event also here. So another event and here it is test name. Here I am entering the code and let's join the room. So here you can see that two users are joined here. So actually I have to change this. So this is the ID here. I have to change this to incognito mode. So let me take this one, localhost 3000, and this will be room ID. So now the second user is joined here. So now this we have done successfully here. So see that second user is joined, but this user is having this controls here. As this user is not a host, but it is having the controls. So we don't want that user to have the controls here. So here what we are going to do. So first of all, we are going to remove this controls from the joined user. So which is not a host. And after that, we are going to move forward and whatever the host is doing, like host is doing this one here, writing this pencil, and same thing should be shown here. So now without wasting any time, let's get into it. So first of all, let's go to the Trello here and here manage our project. Join and create room is done successfully here. So let's edit the label and mark it as green signal. So it is having the green signal. So this much work we have done. And now real-time whiteboard communication we are going to do here. So let's work on it. Then we are going to show the joined users. Then we are going to fix the bugs. So fix bugs and show messages. So show messages means like user joined or user joined or leave messages. And this thing we are going to do. So now this video will be there. After that, we will be having next two videos and then we will go for the deployment. And for the bonus video, I have already said, like if you want any this bonus video, then please add in the comment sections, like if you want the chat system here also. So now without wasting any time, let's get into the coding section. So here we are under the coding section and we have the front end and back end, and also its servers are running successfully here. So our server is running in localhost to 5000 and another one is localhost 3000, our front end. So now let's move forward here, and first of all, let's go to our front end here, and here let's go to the pages, then room page, and for the index.jsx. So here we have the pages here, and you can see that in the when we will go to the app.jsx, and here we have the user. So first of all, we have to pass the user here. So I'm going to copy this and let's pass this user to our room page here, because with the user only we can say that if this user is a host or this user is a presenter or this user is not a presenter or host. Save this. Now let's go to the room page and we are under the room page here. So from here we are going to extract the user from the props, as props will return us object. So that's why from the object we are going to extract the user. Now we have the user, and let's pass this user. So actually we don't have to pass this user anywhere here. So here what we are going to do. So see that you can see that we have the controls here. So we have the controls here. So here we have to check if this is a user. So if user dot presenter. So if user is a presenter, then only we are going to add the controls here. Otherwise, user will not get any controls. Just save this. Now you can see some changes here. So here we are getting some error. User is null. So user is null here. So here what we will do, we will add user and end. So if user is present, and also if user is a presenter, then we are going to show this. So otherwise we can do that user question mark dot presenter. So this will do the same work. See that when I'm going to refresh this, so user is not having controls, but the user can draw this. This user can draw this. Now see that this user is having the controls, and this user can also draw. But this user can also draw with the pencil. We don't want that. So we don't want that, like this user will also draw with the pencil here. So now what we will do. Now let's go here, and here let's pass the user to the whiteboard as. Let's pass the user to the whiteboard. Just save it. And now let's go to the whiteboard here. Now we are under the whiteboard. And here what we are going to do. So instead of rendering any whiteboard, so instead of rendering the whiteboard, what we are going to return. So I'm going to copy this. So here I'm going to apply one if condition here. So if first of all we have to extract the user from the whiteboard here. So here I'm going to write user. Now let's go here. Here we will be having if condition if user dot presenter, and we are going to apply the question mark because if user is null here, then it should not return us the error. Here we are going to return this div, but this div will be without the this one. This div will be without on mouse down, and means these event handlers. And here we don't want any canvas. So instead of canvas, what we are going to do, so here we are going to use the image here. So image, by default its source will be null. So I'm going to add the source empty, and alt I'm going to write that is real-time whiteboard image shared by presenter. Shared by presenter. And here we are going to add some classes. So class name will be, first of all, width will be 100%, and height will be also 100%. Just save this. So now you can see the image here. Actually I have to refresh. So you can see the image, but it is not getting drawn. Means user can draw it, but we are not getting the image. So why we are not getting an image? So this is because, see that when the user refreshed it, user just refreshed it, and we are not having any join code and like this. Now what we will do that, like we don't have any user present and user refreshed it and we are not getting anything. So to overcome this, what we are going to do? So if user is not present and user is refreshing the page, then we are going to uh, tell the user that please go back first, then join the room. First go back and then join the room. So here I'm going to write use effect here. So let's use use effect. Use effect. But here we will be having one issue. So here we will be having one issue. So let's do one thing here. This thing we will do in the next video, next to next video, where we are going to fix the bugs here. So there we will do this thing, like if user is refreshing this and user is not present. If user is pressing this, means joining this room, and this user is not present, then what we are going to do? So we are going to simply right here, means add the pop-up here, and we will ask the user for the name and room ID. We don't need because room ID is already there. So just ask the name and then we will join the user. So that we will do in the next video. So finally, for this video, I'm going to copy this. So for this video, we need the real-time environment. So I'm going back here, adding test name, and let me join this user as well. So join this user also. So here Raman Sharma and generate room, and here we are getting the room name. Copy this, and this dot canvas is null. We are getting this error like this dot canvas is null here. 35. So at 35 we are getting the error, this one. So this is null here that we are getting. So what I'm going to do here, so use layout effect will only run if rough canvas is not null. If canvas is not null. So if canvas is there, then only we are going to run this. Just save this. And now let's try again. And here Raman. Let's click on generate room. And here still we are getting error. So canvas is not defined. So we are getting the error that canvas is not defined. Yeah, I think that is cause of this. So it should be canvas reference. Yeah, we are getting this now perfectly. And let me try again. So here, come on, and click on generate room. Still we are getting this error. When the user will refresh, so we are going to get this. So to remove this error, what we will do? So let's move this to top. So let's move this to top here. So under the whiteboard, we will move this to the top here. So here we will get if the user is not a presenter, actually we have to write if the user is not a presenter, then we are going to render the image. Otherwise, we are going to do rest of things. Now let's test it. So here I'm going to write test name, and let me clear the console first and generate new ID, and let's click on generate. So see that here user can do anything like this and like the rectangle here. Now we have the ID here. I'm going to copy this and let's move forward here, and here test name, and let's join the room. Now see that we are getting real-time whiteboard image shared by the presenter. So because image is not present, so that's why we are getting this. We are getting the alt text here. So now let's move forward here. So here what we are going to do here. So whenever the presenter is changing anything, so whenever these elements are changing, what we are going to do. So whenever these elements are changing, we are going to write one thing here. So here we are going to first of all create the image. We will create the image for our whole canvas. So for this canvas, we are going to create its image, and then we are going to send this image to the convert this image to the URL. So then after converting this image to the URL, then we are going to send this to the backend with socket.io. So now let's do this. Let's go back to the coding section. So here what we are going to do. So we are under the whiteboard here. So here whenever something is changing, so let's create first of all image here. So here I'm going to create canvas image. So image of the canvas here, and then we are changing that to the data URL. But we are not saving as image/png. Just we need the data URL here, and then using the socket. So I think socket we don't have here. So we don't have any socket here. First of all, let's go to the app.jsx. So here we have the socket, and we have to pass this socket to the room page. So socket, let's pass this to the room page, and let's go to the room page here, and from here extract this socket. And after extracting the socket here, let's go to the whiteboard and here pass the socket. Save this, and in the whiteboard we are going to extract that socket here, and then we are going to use this socket here. Socket dot emit. So we are going to emit. So that is whiteboard data. So whiteboard data, and that we are going to send the canvas image. Now our front end work is done for today. So let's go back here. Actually, I think we have to do the work also. Yeah, let's go to the server here, and here let's get the event. So socket dot on. Whenever there will be the whiteboard data event, whiteboard data event will be there. So then this will trigger. Now we need the room ID, as well as we need the uh, only room ID we need. So only we need the room ID till now. So here what we are going to do. So here I'm going to make one function here, that is room ID, and also we need the image URL. So we also need the image URL, so that whenever there is a whiteboard data and whenever new user join, then the previous image should also render. So image current means image also should render. So that's why we need. So here what we are going to do. So in the data, first of all, we are going to set the image URL. So image URL to our data here. So to our data. And then here we are going to set the room ID also. So room ID, and room ID will be our room ID here. So here let's change something, that is room ID global, image URL global, global room ID global. And we have this thing. Now see that whenever, first of all, we want whenever new user join. So whenever new user join, then we are going to send this image URL also here. So here what we are going to do. So we are also going to broadcast this to the user ID and emit the event here. So that will byteboard data response. So just think this thing we are going to emit. So whiteboard data response. And our data will be that is image URL. So image URL. So that will be image URL global. And same thing here we are going to do. We are going to broadcast to room ID global, and we are going to emit this whiteboard data response, and we are going to send this image URL, and that will be the updated data. So just this thing we are going to do. So just copy this, and now let's go back to our front end. So here we are going to whiteboard here, and here let's apply one use effect. So use effect. So there will be the event here in this use effect socket dot on. So if we are getting this event here, then here we have the data. Here what we are going to do here. So we are going to let's set here const image set image is equals to use state, and here by default image will be null. So this whiteboard data response is there, and here we are going to set the image. So that set image, and set image will be by default data here. So this will be the data that we are getting from the server back. So I will explain you here step by step. Don't worry about that. So here let's go back here. Actually we have to go to the top. We have to apply this use effect to the top here. So these two things we need to the top. Yeah. And here in the source, we are going to set this image here. So let's see if this is working or not. So here what I'm going to do. So let's join the user again. So here I'm joining the user. So that is Raman Sharma, and click on generate room. And here we have the user ID. Copy this and let me do like this. Yeah. So here we will join the user again. So that will be test name. And here we are going to enter the room code, and let's join the room. So by default, see that we are not getting anything here. So whenever user is changing here, so see that still we are not getting anything. So why we are not getting anything here? So let's see if we are having any error. So see that this is rendering again and again. This is rendering again and again, but we are not getting anything. We are not getting anything here. So this means that there is something wrong. So we have to find that what is wrong here. So here I have cleared the canvas here. So now let's go to the coding section. So here when we will go to the server, so here you can see we are here passing the object. So in the object we have this image URL property, but here we are just accessing the data. So this is the problem here. So here we are going to access the image URL. So image URL we have to access here. So this image URL we have to access. When I'm going to save this, then you are going to see some changes here. So see that now here is the image. So this is the image here. Correct image is there. Now when I'm drawing something here, and you can see that there is a real-time drawing. So we have the real-time drawing. See that. But you can see that our canvas here is so much less. So we don't want like this. So we don't want like that here. So this is a bug. But today we are not going to solve any bug here. So here you can see that real time is working successfully, and that was the motive. That was our motive here. So here let me select different color, and with different color also it is working. Now when we'll go back to Trello here, so see that here real whiteboard communication is done for us. Now in the next video we are going to show joined user, and after that we are going to fix all the bugs here. So for today this is enough. If you have any queries, please comment in comment section. I will definitely respond to that. At last, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.